In the name of Ahmen, the Supreme, the All-Powerful, the one and only true Lord, and Ahmen we trust as the Republic of Mentellect. The true 144,000 is being gathered in this day and time, the Mentellians. Menzeka Amen to all of my Mentellian brothers and sisters out there, registered members of the Republic of Mentellect, and to all future Mentellians who have yet to find their way home to the Republic of Mentellect, which is Amen's covenant. I send greetings out to you, and I send peace out to you in our Mentellian language by saying to you, Menzeka Amen. Good evening, I'm your host, the intellectual leader, Menkares, and this is Mentellect Radio, and tonight we're going to be discussing why I say that I was conceived of a serpent and born in the image of Ahmen. What does that really mean? Well, that phrase or description was taken from the movie The Omen, right? The Omen. Damien Thorne, I don't know if you know about the trilogies of the Omen series. There's Omen, then there's Damien, Omen 2, and then there's the final conflict. And there, the character Damien Thorne, who's supposed to be the son of the devil or Satan and all this other business, he says that that he was born of a jackal in the image of Satan, right? He was born of a jackal. A jackal is another way of saying a dog, a beast. He was born in the image of a jackal, born of Satan, right? What that means is that he was born, like all of you humans are born, of an animal crossbreed, canine, a.k.a. Canaanites, a.k.a. Caucasians. They have that animal genetic in them, which is why they have fur and not hair. Your humans, that goes for your Caucasians, your Asians, your East Indians, they have fur. We're the only people, so-called black people, that have hair. We're the only ones that have hair, so when they say he was born of a jackal, he was saying he was born of an animal, a dog. And it's not the dog spelled backwards God. The dog spelled backwards is God, and man's best friend is what? The dog. Mankind's best friend is the dog. So yes, he was born of a jackal, and what is the biggest stand of bestiality here in the society? Right? That's sex with dogs. Your white woman has sex with animals. Sometimes now your black women have sex with animals. You white men, you have sex with a dog. There's been stories reported about that. Sheep, all kind of nonsense like that. So when, he's talking about the being conceived of a jackal, he has what that means is he has the genetic material of an animal, of a beast, your so-called white man. And your Asians and your whole human race. I'm not going to just lay it on the white man. It's the white man, the Asian man, the Caucasian man, the East Indian. Those are all the same people. Same fur like hair. And that's the truth. They have hair like animals. And that's reality. Even their own white scientist, what's his name, Darwin said that about the humans. But we as so-called black people do not have that fur. We have hair. Mm-hmm. Now, why did he say he was born of Satan? What does Satan represent? That represents the powers that be in society and the dark orders of the Luciferians, right? Born of Satan, of those three-dimensional beings that embody the order of Satan, which is under the Luciferians. That's what that means. So he was born of a beast, and after that order of the Satanists who are rising up to be Luciferians, right? The bottom order up into the top. Prince of Darkness, a.k.a. belief, which is what a lot of you people who are in religion are really under. You spiritual people, you are Satanists, as I said before. Now, why did I say I was conceived of a serpent and born in the image of Ahmen? Because serpent, right, when you speak about in your book of Genesis, when it speaks about the serpent seed, enmity between Eve's seed and the serpent seed, what that's talking about, the serpent seed is actually talking about a woman, an Amenic woman or a woman. She represents the serpent seed. Why? Because those women who are of the serpent seed, they have a lot of eggs. See, seed is another way of saying eggs. I told you before, you men don't have a seed. The woman has the seed. Her seed is her eggs, right? And the women who have a lot of eggs of that serpentine bloodline, The women who have a lot of eggs, you know, those women who you touch and you touch them and they very fertile, they're pregnant. Once you touch them, they just like they pregnant. You know, you barely got to do anything with them and they pregnant. Right? They're of that serpentine bloodline. My mother was that way. My father used to always say about my mother. He said, "You touch your mother, she pregnant." So I was born of that serpent seed because snakes produce a lot of eggs. They're always laying eggs and whatnot. And you women produce a number of eggs, some of you in abundance. And you can have, it's nothing for you to push out 10 children, 11 children, 12 children, or more. And that used to be the standard of a lot of the old school women back in the day. Right? Right? You would push out, right? And y'all would push out a lot of children, because you are of the serpentine bloodline. You were heavily, very fertile, like the serpent. And your humans, your Eve seeds, they didn't push out as many children because they were not programmed to do so. They were programmed to push out only a limited amount. This is why your so-called white women and all these races of women, a lot of times they might have maybe 2 or 3 children, right? Or they have problems with fertility. They have a problem. They got to go to fertility doctors. They can't have children naturally because they weren't programmed to have a lot of children. That's why they say things like, "I'll have 2.3 children" or something like that. Their numbers are very limited. Right? Their numbers are very limited. Right? And that goes for your Asians and all these other people as well. So a lot of times they have to go into the so-called black woman who has extra eggs. And that's another reason why the so-called white man mixed his seed with the black woman, because he knows she tends to have an abundance of eggs because she's of the serpentine bloodline. She's more fertile than his woman. That's why she did it. And also, when, back in slavery, when the white woman would have children, he would have the black woman nurse the babies, nurse the white children. He would have the black woman nurse his little babies, his little beast. He would have the black woman nurse his children, right alongside of her children, suckling on the same breast. The white woman, and they wouldn't let her nurse, because obviously her milk probably wasn't all that healthy. Right? And this is a fact. This is a fact. So I was born of a very fertile woman. That's what the symbolism of saying born of a serpent. Speaking of a serpentine woman, a woman of a serpentine bloodline. And when I say that I was born in the image of Ahmen, that means I was born with an extension to something greater, which is the Omni race. Because I was a planned pregnancy. I was planned. My brother was born a year before me, and my parents didn't want him to be by himself, so they got to producing me or projecting me, right? And I came through basically to get his back or keep him company, right? So he wouldn't be alone. So I was a planned pregnancy. That was a projection. When you plan out children, that represents a projection of something futuristic, something greater. A lot of you people today, you just screw and have babies, and you don't even have no plan for them. There's no rhyme or reason. You just having babies to be having babies, and you have no real purpose for them. It was a purpose for me. There was a purpose for me coming here, and now you see what my purpose is. So I was born to that extension. A lot of you are finding out what your purpose is over time, those of you who hear this message, but I was born with a purpose. And my mother used to tell me all the time, she said, even from a young child, I knew the difference between the races and things like that, and they didn't even teach me that. She's like, you was born with that programmed in you to know the difference between the races and what wasn't right and what was right, all the way down to kindergarten. She said I was teaching people stuff. She said she remembered that. Even in camp, I can remember at 12 years old, I was teaching black counselors things and whatnot, little knowledge that I picked up, and I would be teaching them stuff. And they would sit around and, in amazement, the older counselor women would sit around in amazement for hours. The black counselor women at our camp in New Jersey we used to go, I would be teaching them stuff, and they would be listening to me for like hours, teaching them stuff about a little bit about history and things I had picked up and acquired over time. So that's who I was meant to be. So I was born in the image of Ahmen, meaning the extended or the eternal one. Now, same way that those who came before me were Like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he was born of a serpentine woman. Why? Because he was number 7 in the line of 13 children. So his mother was a serpentine woman. And his father, right, had to be of Ahmen because his father was a preacher, and his father was also extended, and he had visions about Elijah. And he was also the 7th child. Now, you know, number 7 was a strong number in connection with the Nation of Islam, right? It's the seal of the Bible as well, right? So Elijah being the 7th child, he was of the Ahmen, or the extended bloodline, where he was part of that projection, and he was projected here to be a changing factor in the evolution of our people, or an extending factor in the evolution of our people. So he was of the serpentine seed. He was conceived of a serpent woman and born in the image of Ahmen as well. I'm not the only one. Dr. Malachi Z. York, another one. I think he was I want to say the 4th in the line of children born of a serpentine woman. Because I know the looks of a serpentine woman. I know I could look in her eyes. He was born of a serpentine woman. His mother had about 5 or 6 children. Very fertile woman. Right? And obviously there was a plan for him by way of his father. There was a plan for him that linked him to Ahmen, because when he first came out under the name Amanubi Arakata, obviously he was connected to Ahmen in some way, shape, or form. He was pointed in that direction. So this is the bloodline and the symbology of all of those who come to raise the minds of our people, the bright race, to bring us forward in connection to Ahmen again. Those men will always be conceived of a serpentine woman. There will always be conceived of a serpentine woman, a woman who is very fertile, who has other children, right? A woman who can produce a lot of children, right? And that child, the one who was born of that serpentine woman, that child is always considered a special child, someone who is planned to do greater things or do bigger things. That child is always pushed out to do that, or they see something in that child, and that is that connection to Ahmen. Right? And this is the type of children we should be producing going forward. This is the type of children we should be producing going forward. Those who are of the elect, and those who are of the hopeful elect. When I say of the hopeful elect, those of you who are going to hear this message and eventually make your way into the Republic of Intellect as the elect. This is the type of children you should be looking to produce. You're not going to produce these kind of children laying with males and bypassing real men who were born of this bloodline, this seed. You're not going to produce those type of children. Right? As I said before, a lot of you women are producing children with males. You're not producing children with men. You're producing children with males. Right? This is why a lot of times you have this confusion going on in your womb. You have a state of confusion going on in your womb when you have so many men who went in unto you and put seeds in you, and there's a confusion there. Right? There's a confusion. And you have all these different fathers, all this different DNA, genetic material, I should say, moving through your body. There's confusion there. So a lot of times you don't, where your body was supposed to be lined up to carry a certain transmission, a lot of times you throw it out of whack by dealing with these males. When your body is set to deal with one who is of Ahmen, and then you throw it out of whack by dealing with one who is of Eve, or the Eve seed, you throw your body out of whack. You throw your body out of transmission. You're sending a mixed signal to your womb, to your eggs. Katherine Jackson, family of the Jackson 5, right? Mother of the family of the Jackson 5, she definitely was a serpentine woman. Definitely. I could see it in her eyes, she's serpentine. That's why she had all those children. And she produced at least 2 special ones, Michael Jackson and Janet. They were breakout stars. The rest of the children were talented. And obviously, Joe You know, the people might not like him. He was part of that Ahmen projection because he projected for his children. He willed for his children. Ahmen put it in him, you know, through that projection to make his children stars. Ahmen transmitted that to him. She didn't have any idea that that's what her children were going to be. She was just pushing out babies because she's of the Serpentine. She had all those eggs. He was projecting his light onto the eggs, right, aka his sperm, to make those star children. And they did, both of them together produce star children. They produced star children. Now, they did get jacked up by, you know, being influenced by the so-called white man, you know, so they ended up getting jacked up. But it still doesn't take away from the fact that, you know, they left a legacy behind in them being here, right? And this should always be the goal of a lot of you women who are going to have children. If you do not have children yet, this should be the goal of a lot of you women, to produce star seeds. You should be, if you have no children yet, you should only get with men who are of the Amenic bloodline, who are of the Amenic seed, to produce star children. That's the only way you're going to really produce star children. Because a lot of these, like I said, you gambling with a lot of these males out here who are of the Eve seed. And a lot of y'all don't want to say it. But if you're going to have children and not have multiple different baby daddies and sending all these mixed signals to your womb and to your eggs, right? Because you got to make up your mind. Are you going to hold star children? Or are you going to hold earthbound children? You got to make up your mind. You got to make up your mind. Is your body going to hold star children, hold one seed, or you going to have or send mixed signals to your body and have these different baby daddies? You understand that? This is what you have to make up. This is what you have to decide. You know? And a lot of you have made bad choices and bad decisions in this. A lot of you have made bad choices and bad decisions. A lot of you are raising your daughters wrong already. You should be raising your daughters to be wives, right? And carry those star seeds and be wives for real men. You should be already talking to your daughters at the age of 10. When your daughter gets 10, 3 years before her menstrual cycle, you need to be talking to your daughter about being taken as a wife to a man when she is of age. When she starts her cycle and whatnot, this is the only way you're going to save your bloodline, through your daughters and who they seed with. You understand? You have to start talking to them early before they get a chance to be defiled in this kingdom of the beast. Before they get little boyfriends who are going to sit up here and screw them and just basically use their vaginas for like a damn revolving door. You understand? Before they get defiled and have all kind of different sperm inside them or whatever, or have their hymen broken by a bunch of little degenerates, you have to pull them to the side and tell your daughters, your granddaughters, you are here to be wives. You're not here to be baby mamas. You're not here to be thots and hoes. You're here to produce star children. You're here to produce star seeds. You understand that? That's what you need to be telling your daughters and your granddaughters, nieces, the ones who have been untouched, who have not been defiled. Because it's good when women can admit when they've been defiled in this kingdom. A lot of our women are proud. They don't want to admit that they've been defiled by these niggas. Or by the damn white man, by the beast. They don't want to admit when they've been defiled. Okay? And your saving grace and your defilement of laying down with the wrong people and producing the wrong seeds is to make sure that at least one of your children, if not two or as many as you can save, you can rectify that by especially telling your daughters not to defile themselves. And you have to take a hard line with that, because once your daughters get 10 years old, 11 years old, things like that, you have to, damn near pull them away from school and around these kids and this influence, because that's when they start trying to turn them into damn little whores and sluts. Because these kids, these children today, they're defiled. They're already defiled, and they're going to defile your children. They already ill. They might have been molested. They might have had somebody touch them, and they're going to bring that around your children. You understand? You letting your children, your daughters sleep at other people's houses, and I spoke about this before. And people touching your children and things like that. Next thing you know, your daughter come home, she's 10, 11 years old, 9, so somebody done did something to her already. Somebody already damn defiled her. A lot of you women and, well, you male, but especially you females and you males who have not stayed around to take care of your children, you're careless when it comes to your bloodline and your seeds. You don't take it seriously. See, in the ancient world, back in the day, the people took that seriously. They took the defilement of children or the harming of children. They took that seriously. They took womanhood and being wives seriously. That's not taken seriously in this society. Why? Because you got the mark of the beast on you. But in these societies, amongst the so-called white man, like the Jews, they make sure that they're, and you see in them Hasidic Jewish communities, they making sure their daughters ain't being little hoes and sluts or little lesbians or little thots. They making sure when their daughters hit 13 years old, they're already planning who their daughter going to marry. They already telling their daughter already. They already preparing their daughters for marriage at 13, 14 years old, like we used to do in the ancient world, because they knew, like we used to do, and even if going back as far as the 20s and the 30s, at 14, 15 years old, they was getting married and having children, getting all that childish shit cut out, all that childish nonsense cut out. See, but the so-called white man, he wants to keep your daughters. He wants to say that your daughter, she's underage at 15 or 14 years old. She can't get married, but she can be free to have a boyfriend and be a little slut and a whore. And by the time she get 18, her body don't have all kind of sperm inside of her, abortions and everything else. This is what you're raising. This is what you're raising. They going to school, cutting class and whatnot, going and having damn orgies and threes and all kind of madness. Because, and then when you don't produce that serpentine bloodline, when you don't produce those seeds that are born of Ahmen, then you wonder why. You wonder why. You have to be proactive in the evolution of your bloodline. You have to be proactive in that. You have to be proactive in that. You have to take steps. You definitely have to separate your children in this society and this damn school system of the so-called white man, because that's nothing but a damn cesspool. His school system is nothing but a goddamn cesspool. You got all kind of little degenerates running around in there. You understand? Who ain't looking to do nothing but screw your daughters or screw up their minds. You understand? And then they don't produce. They don't produce the type of children they're supposed to be producing. They don't produce the type of children they're supposed to be producing. All right? They're producing a bunch of little losers. You understand? This is what's going on. They should be being prepared at the age, or talked to at the age of 10, and being told what their purpose is as young women. They should be told this, that they're being prepared to be wives. You should be raising adults, not raising children. You should be raising adults. You should be talking to them like adults. Young adults. You should be talking to them like young adults, letting them know what they're being raised to do, what they're being raised for. Because most of the time, the things, like, I'm going to give you a good example of this. That young girl that got stabbed by that white man, right? And I said this today when we was out promoting, me and the brothers was out promoting. I said, that young girl that got young black girl, 18-year-old, that got stabbed by the white man. I said, would that have happened if that young black girl was in the community somewhere and she was married already and she had children and she was part of a community covered up somewhere, and was accompanied by her husband in the car, not on the train and whatnot? Would that have happened? If she was somebody's wife, if she had children already, she wasn't all running around all wild, 18 on the damn train. She should have been in the community somewhere, traveling and whatnot, and going to where she had to go, where she was protected by men. But see, y'all, you know, you so-called liberated black women, you don't put that together because you got this mindset like you super black woman and whatnot. I go anywhere I want, I ain't scared. And then when stuff like this happen, and a lot more of this is going to happen. Because I told you before, the so-called white man, the rest of these other races of men, they see you so-called black women out here, and you unprotected. You don't belong to no community. You're nobody's wife. You're nobody's mother. You're nobody. You're not part of any extended family. You're not part of no real community like the Jews are, like the Arabs are, like the Amish are. So, like I said, you fool. These so-called white men, the rest of these other races, they look at you like you damn fool. So anything can happen. You can get raped. You can get killed. Anything. You understand? Because you're not part of anything. Your life doesn't matter. When we are producing those serpent seeds and those ones born of Ahmen in those image, that royal bloodline, that bloodline of rulership, we have everything in our control. We get put in our rightful place. We out of our rightful place because the so-called black men and black women are out of their natural minds. They're out of their natural minds. They're running off of the energy of the so-called white man. They're running off of the spiritual energy of the so-called white man and the rest of the humans. That's why they're out of place. This is why, like I said, they'll sit up here and fight for all kinds of degeneracy. They'll say stupid stuff like, oh, my daughter, she ain't going to be getting married at no 14 and 15 years old. She too young, 14, get married. But, oh, she can have a boyfriend, though. She can have a boyfriend. Right? She can have a boyfriend and screw her boyfriend, sneak away from school and screw her boyfriend. And then when he don't want to be bothered with it, as if he don't give her an STD or a disease or give her a baby, or then you could take her to get her first abortion. You can share that mother-daughter moment. You understand? But this is the things that you hold on to. These are the things that you hold on to. You understand? These are the things that you hold on to. You know. These are the things that you hold on to. You rather do that. So again, that just shows that you out of your minds. This just shows you, and you rather your daughter be somebody's girlfriend or somebody's baby mama, other than not, rather over being somebody's wife. You rather her be somebody's baby mama or somebody's girlfriend rather than be somebody's wife. Because 9 times out of 10, you wasn't nothing but somebody's goddamn baby mama. You understand? Or somebody's girlfriend. You wasn't good enough to be nobody, so you don't want that for your daughter. You don't want that for your daughter. You understand? You don't want her to, you don't think she's worthy enough because you couldn't see it for yourself being a man's wife. Being the mother, having children from one man, not multiple streams of DNA running through your goddamn body. You understand? You couldn't see that. The only time a woman should have, if she's gonna be with another man, is when, like I said, if her husband, if she was married, her husband passes away, and she takes on another husband, that's supposed to be it. She ain't supposed to be past maybe two babies' fathers or sets of children. It shouldn't be no 3 and 4 different baby daddies. You understand? It shouldn't be no 3 and 4 different baby daddies. 2 and maybe 2 at the most, and that was it. You know, but that was when women had decency for themselves. These women today, these females, they don't have no decency. They don't have no shame. They act just like a bunch of men. But like I said, that's because you follow the image of the beast. You follow that spiritual energy of the beast, so that throws off the bloodline of the serpentine seed, and it throws off the image of Ahmen, which is supposed to be reflected upon us. That's supposed to be reflected upon us. That's supposed to be reflected upon our children going forward. That throws it off because you following the image of the beast. You understand? That's why. So now, as we are looking to correct this, you're going to see a lot of so-called black women, black females, I should say, they're going to be against that. They're going to be against that. I was telling the brothers that in the old day, like if a man, if a guy got caught taking the virginity of a woman or getting a woman pregnant, the father would show up with the shotgun and be like, oh, where you going? You getting married. Because he said you break it, you board it. When he said you break it, you board it, he meant you broke a hymen. That's who you marrying. You break it, you board it. You gonna marry? See, you want either you gonna marry my daughter, I'm gonna kill you. Because men took that seriously. That's a form of disrespect. But now, a lot of you so-called women, you at the helm of the damn family. You let your daughters have a little boyfriend. You basically telling your daughter to go out and be a whore. You basically letting your daughter go out and be a whore. She can have a little boyfriend. You teaching her she can go out and be a slut. Because you following the image of the white man. It's not noble for her to be a wife, some man's wife. No, that's not noble. Oh, she too young for that. She got plenty of time. She too young for that. No, okay. Okay. The only way to correct this problem, to produce and these repair the womb of the bronze woman, right? The only way to do that is to prepare your daughters early, like mothers did in the ancient day, and even going back 30, 40 years, preparing them to be wives. Preparing them to be wives. Because if you prepared them with an adult mindset to be wives and whatnot, they would think much more of themselves, and they would think more of their bodies. They wouldn't just let males ravage their bodies. They wouldn't let males ravage their bodies. They would know that their eggs, their seeds are worth something. They would know that their eggs and that their seeds are worth something. They would know that. You understand that? They would know that their eggs are valuable. Right? So much so, right now, and that's going to be a growing thing. Black women are going to be offered money to sell their eggs to the so-called white man. And they're offering that now. They're going to offer black women money and a lot of these genetic clinics to sell your eggs over to the white man. They're going to start giving you $5,000 an egg. They already did that. I know this lady back years ago who told me that she sold her eggs for I believe she said like $2,000 an egg. Now you already know what the so-called white man doing with them eggs. You already know. Genetic splicing, helping to create that gray race. But she was simple-minded at the time. She don't know. She just was happy to get some money. If you want to pay that much for some eggs, right? Because you only get you get your set number of eggs for the rest of your life. You get your set number of eggs, and you got to make it work from there. You ain't gonna keep producing eggs. You're gonna get your set number of eggs, and that's it. That's your seeds. And the beast wants your seeds. And when the so-called white man lays down with you black women and have babies with y'all, he's basically defiling your seed. He's defiling your eggs. When he puts his sperm inside you, the so-called white man, he's defiling your eggs. Because what you did was just commit bestiality. He's defiling your eggs. He knows that. He knows he's the recessive gene. He knows he's the weak bloodline. So why would he want to put his recessive blood or recessive sperm inside of you to produce eggs, produce children, to weaken the seed, to weaken the bloodline, to cause chaos and confusion, to take out the serpentine bloodline and replace it with an Eve's bloodline or Eve-seeded bloodline. That's why if you notice, you see a lot of these so-called mulattoes, a lot of these mulatto males and females, they bugged out of their goddamn mind. They off. Mentally, they off. Right? And that's the trait of these Eve seeds. They're very emotional. They're very illogical. That's the trait of these Eve seeds. You understand? These mulattoes are Eve seeds. But this is what happens when you lay down with the so-called white man, these other nations and whatnot. You produce a bunch of Eve seeds, and you throw off the serpentine bloodline. You throw off that serpentine egg system that was meant for you to produce multiple bloodlines of Ahmen or extended bloodlines of Ahmen. You throw it off because the so-called white man brainwashes you into believing we all the same and allow you buy into that BS. But the whole thing is he's trying to degenerate your seed because all it does is help him, but it ends up destroying your eggs. It destroys your seed. It helps him in the long run because his seed is already degenerated. That's why he can't wait to get up in a black woman and have a baby. A little mixed race, a little mulatto. He can't wait. Even if he just going to leave the babies behind, not deal with you, he can't wait to do that. Because it's really about causing chaos and confusion. It's not about, oh, he's so in love with the so-called black woman. It's more or less about causing chaos and confusion and going against nature. That's in him to do. Because he's unnatural. He's of the artificial bloodline, the Eve seed. So it's in him of the creation to cause or be against the genetic material or the natural genetic material that is extending our bloodline. He's going to work against that. He's going to throw a monkey wrench in it some kind of way because that's just who he is. That's what the beast do. You understand? That's what the beast does. He won't leave your woman alone. You understand? He won't leave your woman alone. And your woman opens herself up to the beast because you got a lot of these so-called black females out here. They moving off of that spiritual energy to destroy their own bloodline. They moving off of the same spiritual energy of the beast to destroy their own bloodline. They hand their eggs over to the beast. You understand that? Another example, a good example of that is the DeBarge family, right? Now, the mother of the DeBarge family, she was of that Serpentine bloodline. She was of the Serpentine seed. She had a whole bunch of children, just like Katherine Jackson. She had a whole bunch of children. But you notice, with her children, a lot of them, she had from the damn white man, right, from the beast, right? And you know, all them kids are messed up. All them kids are messed up. All them goddamn DeBarge kids are messed up. They either some of them dead from drug over heroin. You understand? Locked up in jail on drugs. Hell, the damn father molested the daughter. You understand? They all screwed up. But and when she did the interview, you could tell she's still bugged out of her mind because she a brown skinned woman, a brown skinned woman, and here it is, she got damn blonde in her hair, so she really bugged out and loved the image of the beast. The white man's beating her ass, and she's still having children with the beast. She had all her children from the beast and whatnot. He ended up leaving her. You see? All them children are screwed up. Why? Even down to Elder Barge. Even down to Elder Barge. They all screwed up. And you could tell the children, the ones who got somewhat in their right state of mind, you could tell the ones who somewhat in they came out halfway right, they like kind of regret the fact that they father a white man. They kind of regret it. You understand? They regret it. But they black mother, you know, the nigger woman, you know, she the nigger female, she you can't tell her nothing. She loved a white man. She probably was raised on white Jesus. And that's going to be the fate of a lot of you so-called black women who mixed your seed, your serpentine seed with the beast. That's going to be the fate of a lot of you. A lot of you young ones doing it already. A lot of you young ones doing it already. And then you always find your way back to the so-called bronze man after the so-called white man dish your ass. After he done laid with you and put his filthy seed in you, then you find your way back to the bronze man. You try to correct yourself. But by that time, it's too late. It's too late. You try to correct yourself. But see, deep down inside, you knew in the back of your mind you was doing something wrong by being with him. You knew it. But a lot of you didn't take heed to what you was doing. You knew deep down inside you was doing something wrong. You knew you didn't belong with him. You know, you knew you didn't belong with him. Because you get that, because like I said, you get only that time. You're supposed to treat your eggs like they precious, man. You're supposed to treat your eggs like they precious. And a lot of you don't treat your eggs like they precious. A lot of you don't treat it like that. You don't treat your eggs like they precious. You understand? Like somebody said before, people, you talk about people don't respect mixed race children and whatnot, mixed race dogs and whatnot. If your pit bull is mixed with another dog, you call that dog a mutt. You call that dog a mutt. If your children are mixed with another type of dog, you'll call that dog a mutt. So if you want purebred dogs, why wouldn't you want purebred children? Why wouldn't you want purebred children? You want purebred dogs, and people value the purebred dog. Why wouldn't you want purebred children? I mean, it's bad enough. Some of us, in our bloodline, we can't help that we had some beast back in our bloodline, some East Indian, some damn Caucasian, some Asian in our bloodline. We can't help that, but at least we can, going forward, at least we could clean our seed up. At least we could clean up our seed. You would think our people would stop making the same damn mistakes. You understand? You would think our people would stop mixing with these recessive genes, these recessive bloodlines, and just let the damn white man and the rest of these races die out. Let their recessive bloodlines go. Because that's the only reason they land with you so-called black female anyway, so that they can revive their bloodline, because they know their bloodline is on its way out. That's why they land with your black asses. And you so-called black women, you're going to bring them back. You're going to help extend their bloodline with these little mulattoes. You simple-minded ass black females. You're going to help they extend their bloodline. Or you're going to lay with a bunch of weed-head niggas and whatnot, and bring some little Down syndrome or some little damn autistic children forward. Because you laid up with some weed-headed nigga. Because that's just what's going to happen. I'm telling you. Watch, you're going to see the spike in the rays, and a lot of y'all children going to be have autism. Watch that. Watch, a lot of your children are going to have autism. Because now the so-called white man, he okayed the legalization of marijuana, which going to have all this goddamn chemicals on it. The chemicals going to be in the sperm of the black man. He going to be smoking all that damn weed. He going to be smoking that loud, smoking that goddamn whatever, all these different strands of marijuana, which probably got angel dust on it, PCP and all kind of chemicals. Why do you think the white man is legalizing marijuana? Why do you think he doing that? Because he already know you so-called black males going to smoke it like a bunch of jackasses. You going to smoke it. You don't even know what the hell you smoking, and it's going to be attached to your sperm. You black females, you going to lay up with these little niggas, and they going to put some babies in, and the baby's going to come out with damn Down syndrome or damn autism and all kind of other stuff. Notice the rise of autism that's on the rise with a lot of you black women with your children having autism. Notice that's on the rise now. Why? Because you probably laid down with some weed head nigga. Some nigga smoking some loud and all this stuff. That stuff attaches to their sperm, man. That stuff, those chemicals attach to their sperm. You understand that? You already hear the effects of smoking weed from last night when that clown called in. You already hear the effects of that. So imagine somebody like that impregnating you. Imagine how the child could possibly come out. You understand? They're going to make the chemicals stronger and stronger. They're going to make the chemicals stronger and stronger because they're trying to destroy your children. They're trying to destroy your bloodline. If the so-called white man ain't doing it by mixing his seed with you, making these little mulattoes, then if you stay with the so-called black male who bugged out of his mind, who ain't his right stem mind, who's still smoking that loud and that lie and that kush and whatever the hell else, then that's going to destroy you. That's going to destroy you. You understand? That's what's going to happen. That's exactly what's going to happen. Why? Because y'all didn't make good decisions. You had no body to measure this by. And when we was out promoting today, we saw these Negroes, these conscious Negroes, and you could clearly see even these so-called conscious Negroes, they got the spirit of the so-called white man on them too. They got the spirit of the beast on them too. They got the spirit of we felt it was so heavy, and these people are supposed to be so conscious. They had their natural hair and whatnot, all that, but they got the heavy spirit of the beast on them. They got the spirit of the black Caucasians, these Afro punk niggas. You understand? These poetry niggas and niggerettes. With the tattoos everywhere. The gauges in they know, they got their natural hair. They're wearing the damn Chuck Taylor Converses. They got the spirit of the white man on them. They got the spirit. They got the mark of the beast all over them. And then when you try to talk to them, they lost. They don't even understand what you. They got the mark of the beast on them heavy. It's on them, and it's coming out more and more. It's coming out more and more. They was coming up trying to talk to us one time. Oh yeah, we want to come. It's like nah, we don't really want you to come. No. We already tell you got the mark of the beast on you. We're going to know when they come in the meeting, they're going to disrupt it some kind of way. We already know. We already know they got the mark of the beast on them. You could tell just how they talk, how they act, they mannerisms. You understand? They got the mark of the beast on them. You understand that? So imagine now the so-called white man, he's trying to put the mark of the beast on your serpentine bloodline and seed early. See, because by throwing that off, by throwing off their focus, throwing off their, their direction, right? Because that nothing throws off the focus and direction by creating a bunch of little mulattoes. Nothing throws that off like that. Because now they don't even know what the hell am I black? Am I white? Or am I bi? I'm tri? They don't know what the hell they are. When you carry that serpentine bloodline, that seed, right, you already know what your true purpose is. You already know when you got all these brothers and sisters and there's a real family there, you already know what your true purpose is as family. Because by the woman being endowed with the fact to carry that many children, carry that serpentine bloodline like that, the whole point was to create community. That's why she was able to produce so many children, because the whole thing was to create community. And you have all these women producing all these children, then they definitely have then future husbands and wives and families and whatnot. Then the family's being extended. The community's been there. They were given that ability to produce giving those eggs to produce all those children, because it was supposed to extend a big community. That was supposed to be the community right there. We supposed to have the biggest community on the goddamn planet. The bright race, the bronze people, we supposed to have the biggest community on the planet. If we would have stayed amongst our own, and we was working toward that at least somewhat in the 70s. We kind of started working toward that in the 70s. That was the last big hurrah with our people. We was working on it in the 40s and the 50s and whatnot, because that's the whole reason you were given that ability to reproduce like that. You so-called black women, you bronze women, you were given that ability to reproduce because y'all was supposed to be building the community. With your husbands. Your children were supposed to be being married at 14 and 15 years old off to somebody, a man that's older than them, so they could start their family and produce children, and so on and so forth. And their children are educated in the community, much like what you see the so-called Jews doing today, which they've got from us. See, with so-called Jews, they ain't gave up their culture. You notice that, right? They'll call everybody else a goddamn cult. Now, if we live like that, they'll call us a cult, but they don't call the Jews no cult now, do they? They do the same thing. They making sure their little daughter, little Rachel, little Sylvia, or whoever, little Adam, he gonna marry such and such at 15, 16 years. They already courting already. They already getting married. They gonna make sure that they ain't gave up their culture. Nobody called them a cult. Nobody looked at them strange. You understand? Same thing with the Amish. They ain't give up their culture. See, because they understand the importance of community. They understand that. And having an order and a structure. Because without it, they could use, you see what happens. What happens is black people. Constant confusion. I'm pretty sure the so-called Hasidic Jews, I wouldn't be surprised if they use black people as a goddamn example. Like I always use black people as an example. I wouldn't be surprised the reason why you see Jews always moving around black people, like being around black people, is because they want to show their children, see what can happen if we didn't have our community. See, you see what can happen? You'll be out here, you'll be out here pregnant at 15 like these black girls, like these Schwarzes. You'll be out here pregnant like these little black Schwarzer nigger girls. To which the so-called Jew probably laying up with them on the side if he get a piece of black ass. He'll probably lay up with them. He'll lay up with the black woman on the side and have side babies. You understand? But he'll talk dirty about you so-called black females, but you'll lay up with the so-called Jews and the white man. You'll lay up right with them. And they'll teach their little daughters, see, you can't be like the Schwarzer girls. You can't be like them because they don't have no father. Their mother is a whore and a slut, and she had multiple babies. See why we need a community? You see why? I wouldn't be surprised. You know what? I wouldn't blame them for doing that. I wouldn't blame them for pointing to the so-called black community as a goddamn example. I wouldn't blame them for that. It's only black people that want to be under this illusion. Niggas want to be under this illusion that we have a real community. There's no community. There's no black community. There is no black community. You understand? There's the black disunity, like I said, where everybody comes and feeds off of them. Where everybody comes and feeds off of niggas. Feed off you like a damn virus. Everybody, I said before, and I'm going to say it again, everybody feeds off of black people's dysfunction. Everybody feeds off of black people's dysfunction. Because black people just can't get it together. They just can't get it together. And you know what? Niggas don't want to get it together. They don't want to. They don't want to get it together. They don't want to make it right. They don't think it's a problem. And like I said, when these black Caucasian, these two black Caucasian girls came over wanting to argue with us and whatnot, talking about, you know, oh, such and such, trying to argue. I said, look, I said to them, I told the brothers, listen, you tell them, and in the conversation after that, you ask them, well, do you think it's a problem with how black people are in society? And if she say no, well, she probably would have said no, you know, then just tell her have a nice day. Because she's okay with how things are. She's okay with the way black people are. So if you're okay with the way black people are, then this message ain't for you. Don't listen to us. Go back and follow the white man. Go back into your state of degeneracy and follow the white man. We ain't talking to you. You understand? You already not in your right state of mind. We already proved that the so-called black man and black woman are out of their natural mind. They out of their minds. You don't talk to people who are out of their minds. You leave them alone, man. Because they're going to be devoured. They're going to be devoured anyway. Ahmen going to destroy these niggas anyway, man. And the so-called white man and all these people who are not in their right state of mind. Amen's going to destroy them, man. You know, this future world is not going to move forward with mentally dysfunctional people. People who don't know their place. People who don't know what they're supposed to be out here in the world. Who they supposed to be with. Who they supposed to be laying with, and who they supposed to be procreating or pro-producing with, I should say. You only supposed to get one shot at this. You ain't supposed to be having no multiple baby daddies and all this other shit. You only get one shot at this. You supposed to only get one shot at this. You mess it up, you only get, like I said, if you fortunate enough to get a second one at it, that's supposed to be it, man. But like I said, the black woman, she let her vagina be a revolving door for any strange people that want to go up in there. And I know the so-called white man, we hate this message. Those of you listening, I know you white man, you listening. I know you so-called white man hate this because y'all all set in all the rest of these races because y'all all set to use the black woman as a damn her vagina as a revolving door. So now when you get somebody who's standing up telling the black woman, look, close off your vagina to the rest of these nations and to the degenerate black male, close your vagina off to them, and definitely don't open it up to the damn another woman. They don't like that. Because for up until this point, you so-called black females, y'all done been the damn, you done been a whorehouse for the other nations, man. You've been an open whorehouse. You've been an open whorehouse for the goddamn Arabs, for the white man, for the Asians, everybody. Like in Africa, where you goddamn Chinese, you damn Asians, here it is, you over there screwing them women in Uganda. You screwing them black women in Uganda, and then you going back to China, leaving a bunch of mixed up black Asian babies. You screwing these black women in Africa, and when they opening their legs for you, you screwing, they going right back to Asia, causing confusion in the bloodline of those women over there, causing that confusion of faces, like you Israelites say. And you guys, y'all with that confusion of faces too, man. You with it too. See, you guys are with it too, man. You niggas got to go too, right along with the beast, and you niggas that love the beast that want to keep destroying your eggs, man. I ain't even got said. Y'all already on your way out, man. Y'all already on your way out with the arrival of these mulattoes, the gray race. That just means the black race and the white race on their way out. That's all that means. That's all that means. That just means you on your way out. With the arrival of the gray race, the mulattoes, that just means y'all on your way out. With the arrival of Colin Kaepernicks and Barack Obamas and all these other type of people like that, like I said, it's just a sign that you're on your way out. That's all. And you know what? That's a beautiful thing. I'm going to be at a Bed-Stuy Restoration Plaza, the Bedford Stuyvesant Restoration Plaza tomorrow from 3 to 7. We're going to be on the 4th floor. It's our monthly Superman, Superwoman project, the Republic of Men Select Superman, Superwoman project. I'll be in Brooklyn tomorrow. Those of you who want to come out, it's free. We're going to be on the 4th floor. I'm going to be speaking, running my mouth and things like that. So, come out. It's free. Ask questions and whatnot. I'm going to be speaking on many things concerning that, intellect. And like I said, from 3 to 7, admission is free. Come on in. So if you're interested in attending, give Mr. Lanier Menjaz a call at 718-510-3769. My assistant, Mr. Lanier Menjaz, 718-510-3769. Let me go ahead and take these calls. 501. 501. Okay, nothing from 501. Okay. All right. 414.
Benzak Minzor in Rochester V.
Benzak.
So I have a question. So if one is to birth a child, what determines the bloodline that the child would come forth from? Would it like the mother's bloodline or the father's bloodline? What determines that?
I'm sorry. Who's speaking again? I'm sorry. Say it again. Was it Enra who?
This is Enra Jessica G.
Okay. It will always determine actually the mother, because 9 times out of 10, like I said, these are your eggs, and this is really your seed. And you establish the order, even though the man sets forward with the law of projection of the sperm, or the ejection of the sperm, but there has to, the eggs have to be fertilized, so the seed is actually yours. It's the woman's seed, not the man's seed.
Right. Correct.
Right,
so I recall in another broadcast you were doing, you were saying how you had seen pictures of your grandfather. I believe you said from the 1800s. I'm not really sure the time you said, but you said that you looked just like him, and that you could have come forth, that you could possibly have come forth as him, like regenerated in a new vessel. So would that be your father's bloodline then? Not your mother's bloodline?
Well, again, you take both bloodlines and whatnot, but I get, you get half of your genetic material from your perennial, your maternal and parental lineage. So you take half of each, so it could come out where from one side where you look like your great grandfather, your great grandmother, something like you'll resemble these people. So it's all part of the genetic makeup, and the material is what comes forward in genetic form clearer than others. Sometimes some things will stand out, and sometimes when you go through shifting, you'll see certain points where your child might look like his grandfather, or he might look like an uncle, or he might look like that, because all that genetic material is shifting in those children. So you pick up all of that.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense. Because I know, like, for as far as my daughter go, I know I planned her birth, and I called her soul force and her energy. But I also have a strong knowing that she's like my grandma's soul and regenerated. And it's just been so many synchronicities that confirm that for me. And so when the souls of the particular bloodlines come back and regenerate themselves, is it because they want to continue forward what they were doing when they left off, or how would you kind of, I guess, observe that to rear them in that direction?
Well, 9 times out of 10, they are picking up where they where they left off at. Your grandmother, great grandmother, they picking up where they left off at, and they take on the vessel of your child and whatnot, and they become that new vessel, that soul that comes into your child, because they actually work in extending the soul of your children, because when those souls become one and say, like, for example, you'll be like, oh, that child has, like, more wisdom, or knowledge than somebody their own age. That's the extension of a grandmother or grandparent that attached to their soul and their mental connection with them that extended their bloodline. So sometimes, that'll happen in order to extend them.
Okay, wow. And then they choose a particular family member that they know would help extend them as well. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay. Wow. Okay. That's excellent. Thank you.
All right. All right. And so you have to be mindful that, like I said, and I'm going to tell a lot of you sisters this, be careful of laying down with these weed-smoking, weed-head Negroes, man. Just like I tell you, be mindful of laying down. Don't lay down with the so-called white men of these other nations. Don't lay down with them. Be mindful not to lay down with these weed-head Negroes, man, because a lot of their sperm is gone, man. A lot of their sperm got all kinds of chemicals on it and everything else. They don't smoke all that weed and whatnot. And, because, like I said, the white man knew that our people were going to reproduce and do it, in the next, phase. So he had to make sure that he destroyed the bloodline of our people by giving them all that marijuana to smoke. So you women out here who smoking that marijuana, you men out here who smoking, don't lay down with these weed head Negroes. Don't lay down with them. Their sperm has been compromised. They got chemicals on their sperm. Don't lay down with them. Stay away from them. All right? And it's going to come a time where a lot of these guys, they're going to start flipping out more and more and killing a lot of you women because, like I said, they under the influence of a lot of this marijuana that is going to have all kind of PCP and ecstasy, all kind of other stuff sprayed on it. So imagine what that's going to do to your insides and what it will do to your eggs. So take another call. 347.
Hey, good evening, Mr. McCarry.
Good evening.
Craig, man, how you doing?
How you doing, brother?
Just to touch on a point, when it comes to mixing out your bloodline, it kind of reminds me of the movie like Back to the Future, where when Marty goes in the past and he encounters his mom and his mother starts to take a liking to him as opposed to the father. And then you see the pictures in the future start to erase more and more. The more liking she took to him, the more the future pictures started to disappear. So it kind of happens like that. When you're mixing out your bloodline, you're actually mixing out the future, your future ascendants. Is it somewhat similar?
Yeah, it is. It is. Because that's the reason why the so-called white man, that's why he ties into your bloodline, because he's trying to weaken your genetics. That's a form of genetic warfare. When he mixes his seed with your seed, he's trying to weaken your bloodline, because he already know once he do that, the offspring of that is not going to be so-called black, no more bronze, no more. He already knows that. He already knows the bloodline's been compromised. He knows that.
And
just like, for example, with that, the people like I gave the example of Minnie Riperton, right? Minnie Riperton was a soul singer from the 70s and things like that. She's dead now. She's deceased. She was laid up with some white man. You know what I'm saying? She had her children from a white man, right? Now here it is, her daughter Maya Rudolph, who plays on Saturday Night Live, used to be on there. She married a white man, right? And they have a baby. And the baby looks like a little white girl. So now Minnie Riperton's bloodline is gone for the most part. So obviously, her daughter got with a white man because she obviously don't like no black men. She ain't trying to do it. She wanted to go whiter, get away from, her mother. Because if you looked at her daughter, you wouldn't even think that Maya Rudolph came from Minnie Riperton. You wouldn't even think so. But she erased her bloodline, and then she also erased herself because she had cancer in her genetics and she had cancer in her blood, which 9 times out of 10 came from mixing with the recessive genetics of the so-called white man. So a lot of you so-called black women, like I told you before, over the long run, when you with the damn white man, you mixing your seed with all these recessive genetics, it ends up tearing down your blood, man. It tears down your body. It starts, you start having all these strange diseases or you look tore down in some kind of way when you mix them with the so-called recessive genes of the white man.
Isn't James Brown bloodline kind of like that also?
Say again now?
James Brown, isn't his bloodline damn near gone as well? That's another example.
Yeah, well, he got. Yeah, I think so. I think he got some bronze grandchildren and whatnot. I think he got some. They tried to erase out Muhammad Ali bloodline. His two simple ass daughters got with some damn white men and whatnot. And the grandchildren look bugged out and look weird and whatnot. Like weird mulatto look to them. They're like two rats, right? And but he had a little. But thanks to good thing. Layla Ali, she kept the bloodline alive. Her little son looked just like Muhammad Ali. That was crazy. They did an ad together. You looked it up. The little boy looked just like Muhammad Ali. So at least she had the right state of mind, you know. So.
You know, well, one last one. I remember posting up on Facebook. I said, if you take these same people that don't have a problem with, you know, mixing their genetics, if you take those same people and they owned like pit bulls, if you dared try to intermix with one of their pit bulls, they would lose their freaking mind. They wouldn't even mix their own dogs out, but you'll mix your human genetics out.
Yeah, that's because so-called black people, they don't know who they are. They don't value their bloodline. Because if they really valued their bloodline, if they really knew who they was and where they come from or who they are, or who they supposed to be on the planet Earth, they would have never laid down with the white man. They would never mix their seed. The women would never perm their hair and whatnot. Because more and more I'm seeing natural sisters with their beautiful hair out and things, even whether it's short or whether it's long. More and more I'm seeing natural sisters and whatnot becoming that you know, being more and more beautiful as they going natural. They mess it up in some kind of way by going and being with the damn white man. They mess it up to go be with the white man. You know?
Yeah, I appreciate the broadcast. Thanks a lot, Mr. Mencares. I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, see you tomorrow, brother. 4th floor. We'll be on the 4th floor. All right.
Copy.
All right. Take another call. 586.
Menzak, Missouri. Cheyon Z.
Menzak.
I had a question, kind of like an add-on to what the Enron was asking. When you were saying that like people can come back through the bloodline, is that just strictly from like a mother and a father, or could like an uncle come back through? If that makes sense.
Times out of 10, yeah, I mean sometimes that may happen, but 9 times out of 10 it's, you know, mother, father, grandfather, like that. 9 times out of 10, you know.
And then 2,
it may happen.
I was wondering, like, how does that work? If you're saying that the mother is the serpentine egg, and if her mother already passed on, and it's her egg being passed through, how would that work with them being able to come back through that egg that's already in their child?
Hold on. So you're asking if, let's say, a mother has a daughter and the mother passes on, and how is the mother able to come back through the bloodline of her daughter's eggs?
Yes.
Is that what you're asking? Because the mother's soul attaches to those eggs. Because see, the egg represents the physical aspect of it, right? The material aspect of it. Her soul has to, in order to give that life or give that connection of that life or that light to the physical part of it, the soul and the mind and the transmission has to be connected to it as well, or it's just a dead egg.
Okay.
You know,
that's all I had, though.
All right. Okay.
All right, Menzak.
Take care, Menzak. All right. Take one more. 404.
Menzak, Missouri. Enru Jacob Z.
Menzak.
What determines how fast generate back into a vessel down your bloodline?
Second. What determines how say it one more time.
What determines how fast you regenerate back into another vessel, the bloodline?
Your desire to get back here and to continue on with what you were doing, that will get you back here quicker. You know, because you might have, say, for example, let's just say you have you were doing something important here, right? And then you might have a grandchild who wasn't going, who wasn't going to be nothing, or a great grandchild who ain't going to be nothing. So now that presents a perfect vessel for your soul to come through to make them more. You know.
Okay, that was
it's kind of like the same thing. It's kind of like the same thing with the spirit, when the spirits inhabit different bodies and forms, but ours is a more direct thing because we taking on the bodies of the bloodline of our people, or we might come back up 2 to 3 generations or even 10 generations up and keep coming back, coming forward and whatnot, because, a lot of these children are going to be empty vessels. So what you have to do is you have to put, more or extended soul and power and mental connection into these new children or these next level children to extend them. That's the way to extend the bloodline. You come through one of your descendants. Okay. All right. Menzai. All right. We'll play something short and sweet, and we shall be right back. I'm going to take another call. Oh, let me take this call first. 912.
Hey, peace, Newt.
912. Peace.
Hey, brother, I'm down here in the South, man, and since we was talking about race mixing or what have you, I wanted to know what was your input on the fact that we have so many military spots here in the South that's flooded with race mixing, and man, this has become the norm throughout the South, man. I mean, I just want to hear your input on that if you got any.
Well, the whole thing is to, in this era of social engineering, to create the mulatto race. All this is being done purposely, right? All this is being done purposely. This is what you're witnessing here in the South and all these other places where you used to see racism was rampant in the South like that now, and it still is. But you starting to see people starting to do the race mixing thing, and even a lot of these racists are race mixing and whatnot. They mixing they see, but that's happening because again, you watching social engineering taking place, where in this society they want one race of people, which is that mixed or mulatto race, because again that represents chaos and confusion. And when you got a bunch of people who don't know who they are, they cannot be identified by, nationality or whatever the case may be, or who they are as a people, then you get this. You're going to get this state of confusion because, again, the beast rules by way of confusion. So by him creating these mulatto mixed race people, this is his way of controlling things by state of confusion. And I'm gonna say something else. A lot of these children that you're seeing that are popping up, a lot of these mulatto children, they really don't have. They're not really. And they're gonna find this out down the line. They don't really have mothers and fathers. What I mean by that is, a lot of the eggs of a lot of you black women were taken during your visits to obstetricians and things like that, and gynecologists. Some of your eggs were taken and stored, and they took sperm from Caucasian men and they mixed it in already. They did a lot of that already. A lot of that stuff was done without you even knowing. A lot of you going to find that you have children walking around here who are mulattoes you didn't even know. They took your eggs and did that. Because they're going to push this whole mixed race thing. In some way, they took age, they got the genetic material, Asians, black people, Caucasians, all that, and they're going to mix it together anyway. So whether you partake in it or not, they're going to try and push that. And it is what it is.
Okay. Well, I just noticed it was a little heavy around the military bases, extremely heavy. But that's it, man. That's all I want to add.
Okay. All right. So, thank you, brother. All right. I had stated in one of my classes, I said that the quicker you come back, or come forward, I should say, in the future, through the bloodline of or the continuation of your bloodline, the quicker you come back was based on how you sleep in the now state, meaning now how long you sleep, right? Because sleep is the sister, like they used to always say, sleep is the sister to death. So every evening you laid to rest. That's why they use the term laid to rest. When you die, you got to lay him to rest or lay her to rest, because you are resting, right? Because they know eventually you're going to rise. Your soul is going to rise or come forward again through the future bloodline. And based on how long you sleep physically in this life, in this body, will determine how quick you will come back. And also, your purpose and your continuation of what you were meant to do, that will bring you back, or bring you forward, I should say. So it's based on continuation, because 9 times out of 10, when you not sleeping a lot, when you constantly want to get up and do something, that's that soul in you, that energy and that power that's going through you, where you feel as though you have to always complete something. You always have something to do. So you I don't really have time to sleep. I got to get up. I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to do that. So that soul in you is going to come forward and take the body of a grandchild or a great-grandchild, and then you'll come forward through them, and they're going to have that same sense of urgency in doing things, and they're going to even start to look like you. And I want to say this also, that, the reason why you're able to even, from the time when the child comes out and the mother is shaping the head of the baby, the reason why you're able to do that is because you are the seed of the woman. You're able, because she carries, water in her embryonic sac and things like that, and it softens the skull, right, for you to shape the skull when it comes out, and and that is a constant and continuous thing till the skull hardens, right? So you shaping the skull, and like I said, you carry the seeds, so you have to be mindful of who you allow to project solar energy into the seed, who you allow to project that energy into, because again, you're going to cause confusion in your genetic material, in your bloodline, in your seeds. And you might have the serpentine bloodline, but you might produce a bunch of Eve seeds. You'll produce and mess up your whole bloodline. I'll take another call. 919.
Ms. Zach, Mr. Enright Yvette.
Ms. Zach.
How are you?
How you doing?
Ms. Zach, I'm fine. I actually have a question about the fertility of the serpentine woman and how it affects me. I know that I'm of the serpent seed, but it's very possible that I'm infertile. That's number one. And number two, just caveat off that, Harriet Tubman, I think she was someone who was of the serpentine bloodline, but she had no children of her own. And I just want your opinions on what that could mean for my life in general. The fact that I will probably never have children.
Well, when you have serpentine women who don't have children, it's 9 times out of 10 not a medical thing, because again, sometimes you'll get with males who are not able to fertilize your eggs properly, or you're doing it at the wrong time, or you're not planning out to have children. So 9 times out of 10, you might miss your chance. You might be fertile as hell, because I've heard, things where it might be something as simple. Even Dr. Sabi's talking about giving women things to correct it. What they thought was infertility could be something clogging your tubes, anything. It could correct you and give you that fertile push to carry children. But again, if you are in a state of confusion, I'm going to say this as well, if you are in a state of confusion about yourself and what you want in your life, then it's going to cause confusion in your genetic material as well, and you're going to either not produce any children or not know the right man to produce children with. And that can stop you from doing it, because, again, it's also a mental thing as well as a physical thing.
Okay, that makes sense. All right. Another thing, my mother, she was very fertile, and she had a tubes tied twice, I believe, and she still had children. But they convinced her to get a hysterectomy, and they convinced her to they took out one of her ovaries, one of her fallopian tubes, and her uterus. And at the time, I didn't understand why they did that. Supposedly it's because she had uterine fibroids, but I realized that there was another factor at work. They knew that she was very fertile. And I wonder how many other children or what it is that they're doing with her ovaries right now. But I know that it's I don't know. It's very, very sinister, but I understand that it's a higher plan. But thank you for taking my call.
You're welcome. All right. Menzak.
All right. Menzak.
Yeah, that happens. Like I said, it's not always, because you might have women who have the serpentine bloodline who might not have children. Like I said, it's not that you're infertile. It's that 9 times out of 10 you weren't with the right men who were able to seed your eggs, or you didn't have any real purpose for your children. You have to start talking about and planning your children out, because when you're able to start talking out and planning your children, you're actually projecting them forward. You have to start talking about and planning them out, and you have to have a very strong personality, a strong energy to produce them with. This is why men like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad had so many children. Men like Dr. Malachi York, they were strong personalities. Why myself, I'm going to produce a certain amount of children. And why it was meant for me to wait at the time, because I wasn't supposed to produce in this, because a whole new bloodline is about to be born in this era, going 2019 and going forward. 2019, 2020, a whole new open door to a new bloodline, a new seed is about to be produced in this era. A whole new bloodline, a whole new seed. As I follow in the bloodline of actually my grandfather, right? My father's father, who produced my father at the age of 49. He had my father at the age of 49. He had one other son in his early life, and then he produced my father, and those were his only 2 children, his 2 sons, which he produced my father at 49. My father and his other son from a previous relationship, they were like 20 years, 30 years apart. That was some of the, best seed that he produced in my father, because that bloodline produced me. So he was able to regenerate and start a whole new bloodline and seed, just from my grandmother, who was definitely his wife, my grandmother, who had 4 children before they got together and had my father, because she was previously married, and my grandfather got together and had my father. So my grandmother, my father's mother, was definitely of the serpentine seed, definitely, very fertile woman, right? Very fertile. So again, like I said, you have to have, and my father was planned. He was planned, and this back in 1948. My father was born. He was planned. The first child that my grandmother and grandfather had, she lost the child, and then right after they planned, they went right and had my father the very next year. So that was planned. So you have to start projecting your children, and you have to project the type of children you want, and you have to lay with the type of man to produce those children, and you have to start projecting them, because that will strengthen your eggs. It will give your eggs a direction. It will give your eggs a direction. Right? Your eggs are supposed to be in alignment to a certain direction. Now, everything is about direction, not misdirection. Because like I said, a lot of these males you lay down with, they're going to cause, you might be giving birth to an Eve seed, because when you lay down with a male, I don't care if you're friends with him, none of this other stuff. When you lay down with a male, you're going to produce Eve seeds. You know what I'm saying? When you lay down with a male, you will produce Eve seeds. When you lay down with a man, you will produce serpentine bloodline seeds. They will be of the direct current. They're going to be a direct current. They're going to be focused. They're going to be of Ahmen. But that's something that you decide and something you determine. Okay? So let me go ahead and read these questions before we get out of here. Why was I conceived of a serpent and born of it in the image of Ahmen? Because again, being conceived of a serpent represented my mother, who was a very fertile woman. Right? It was 4 of us. Really, it was 5. She miscarried one, but like my father said, she's a very fertile woman. Touch her, she's pregnant. You got a lot of women who like that. Very fertile. Right? And why I was born in the image of Ahmen, because I represent the extension of the next day, which we are coming into now. The extension of great leaders like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Dr. Malachi York, and now in the continuation. And, because there are no more great leaders like that in this day and time, because they're walking around, breathing, and living. There are none that have the thought and the idea of community. So I was meant to carry that forward in the name of Ahmen, by the power of Ahmen. Right? What does this really mean? Again, physical extension and mental extension from fertile people, mentally fertile people. I was the product of 2 mentally fertile people. Are others born this way? Yes. And this is what we're searching for in this building of this community, this covenant in this community. This is what we're looking for, those who are of the bloodline of the serpent bloodline, coming from the fertile women, right? Like I might say in Islam, the fertile crescent, coming from the fertile woman. But we talking about the fertile sun, or the fertile solar energy of the fertile sun, right? And that sun being the projection of Ahmen, right? Is the serpent evil? No. The serpent represents fertility. That's really what the serpent represents, fertility, right? And also why I made reference to the woman, my mother being like the serpent seed, because she was calculating. Women are supposed to be calculating in the men that you lay down with and have children with. You're supposed to be calculating like the serpent. Like you notice when a serpent is hissing around, looking, it's examining you, examining everything before it strikes you. It's examining everything. That's how you women are supposed to be. And that's really how y'all are by nature. This dumb act that y'all playing, right, where you laying down with a bunch of males and you acting like, I don't know, I didn't know that he was going to do this. Cut the shit. You know the nigga ain't nothing. You know you ain't supposed to be laying down with no damn devil, neither no damn white man, neither of these other nations. So cut the shit. All right? You know what you're doing. You just choose to be ignorant. That's not the mindset of a serpentine woman. You're supposed to be calculating and fertile. Why would Ahmen choose a serpent? A serpentine woman? The fertility. The symbolism of fertility. Serpents lay many eggs over their time, and you women carry the serpentine bloodline the same way. Same way. And that's it. So we're going to close this out in the name of Ahmen, by the power of Ahmen. And Ahmen we trust, and Ahmen we think, and in Ahmen we continue forward forever. Hail Ahmen, hail the Mentalians, and hail this community of Mentellect, this Republic of Mentellect. Like I said, I will be in Brooklyn tomorrow. It's still 4 minutes. I'll be in Brooklyn tomorrow speaking from 3 to 7 on the 4th floor at Bed-Stuy Restoration Plaza. All right, so come on out, the usual place, 4th floor. I am the intellectual Nuben Menkares. This has been Mentellect Radio. Good night. What do I want to close with?
Rising out the black race to the bright race, out the black race to the bright race. It's the Republic of Mentellect, black race to the bright race. If it's hell, Ahmen, then it's hell us. They tried everything just to spell us. Fed us religion, gave us fake gods. Through all of that, we beat the odds. Now we coming together under one flag. Colors red, gold, and blue. Superman, Superwoman, that's me and you.